Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Physiology and Endurance Running Podcasts. I'm your host, Dan Nash, as ever, joined by Owain Zarelli. And today we're going to do week 3 of our Road to Barry series. Is that seven weeks to go?
6 weeks to go.
6 weeks to go. Oh, God, it's getting close now, isn't it? Before we delve into Owain's week, we need to just bit of a plug to our sponsor, Soar. Soar running apparel is world class. Fantastic stuff. We've been very lucky to get a bit of a kit drop last week with some of their latest winter running gear, and we've been putting it to its paces. It's been, if you're not in the UK, it's been very well for us. I'd say it's very cold. Like we had sub-zero temperatures, or feels like. And it's been very, very handy. I've been very much enjoying the Soar windbreaker. I've always been a jacket guy, just a long sleeve top and a jacket.
You always go with the subtle flex of the GB jacket when you're out running.
Well, you know why it is? It's because I'm tight and I won't buy one. I've got that, and I've got a really cheap one which is really horrible. So I've got my Nike GB jacket from 2019, so it's getting old now. And it's been severely upgraded by the Soar windbreaker jacket, which is very nice, windproof, great for keeping warm, a bit thicker than just more comfortable to run in than a sweaty, non-breathable jacket. So really enjoying that. What's your highlight out of our kit replenishment?
I think the tights. I wore them in a session and my sort of long run this week, and because I've been wearing the half tights we got before, and like a testament to how breathable they are, that my legs are really cold, like the entire way up my legs. So now I've got the tights, they're really nice, like warm enough, but I've done a session in them, sort of thing. So yeah.
I'm a big fan of them as well. I've just found like they're not seamless, but where the seams are is just they're just really in non-rub positions and not sticking out. Like I've got some and they literally just cut you up, and they're horrendous. But I've been finding them really, really nice, really comfortable. So go check out Soar. Really, really nice stuff. So shall we dig into your week, Owain? So week beginning 13th of Jan, right?
13th of Jan, yeah. And week started as all of these have started, hour easy. I think I felt pretty good. So this was coming off of a fell race on the Saturday and a long run on the Sunday. Felt nice and chill. 59 minutes, nice and easy. I sort of knew going into this week it would be a bit of a different structure to what I would like to do for my week structure, but it is what it is.
So let's get into that. And what's your ideal structure? How do you like to frame your week? Because considering that until recently it was just run steady every day, so that's quite an easy structure to replicate. But
I think especially training for Barry, I think one session that's a big session works for me. Maybe at some point I'll try 2 sessions, but where I've run my best, it's been one bigger session during the week, like generally on a Wednesday, but doing one session means I have the flexibility to push it to Thursday or Friday if I need to. So I maybe sort of benefit from not having the, I guess, like mental, I don't want to say fatigue, but thinking like, I need to do the session today because then I need to do another one later in the week and fit a long run in. So generally, bigger session on a Wednesday, long run on a Sunday. And then around that, the day after the session or the long run is 60 minutes. And then get to 10 miles the day after. And then if there's a day after that, then maybe push a longer run. So, up to like an hour and a half. Really maximizing the amount of miles I can get during the week. And I think the easiest way for me to do that is one session and easier stuff, which I didn't do this week we're about to go through, but a couple of my previous weeks I have, and like this coming week will be back to that. So, like Wednesday is 22 plus kilometers, and then maybe another day of 20k, and then a long run. So Yeah, that's what I'd like to do, but I didn't do that this week.
Is that what you'd like to do because you're training for 40-mile track race, or is it what you'd like to do regardless if you're training for 5K?
I think regardless. I think, yeah. I mean, maybe like the couple of weeks before 5K, I would maybe like shorten the sessions, but like I've said on here before, I don't think you need to be doing 5K specific, anything harder than the threshold, more than a few weeks out from like, 5K or 10K. So I would rather run 10 extra kilometers in the week and do one bigger session than do two shorter sessions. Because just generally I tend to not go above my second threshold. So I then think, well, why not just do that all in one session? Like just gets 50 to 60 minutes.
I like that thinking. So you've basically gone, right, don't bother with double threshold. Don't bother with single threshold. We're not going to do two double threshold sessions a week, Ingebrigtsen style. We're not going to do just like, two big singles. We're just going to do like one massive single.
Yep.
There you go. Like the same dose. I mean, you're not quite doing 40K in one go, but you're doing a good chunk of mileage.
Yeah. I mean, it just works for me, and also like I don't really want to run twice in a day, and also it then means that 5 days, like long runs harder to fit in, but 5 days of the week it's a lot more flexible for me to fit stuff in. So that's what I tend towards. And then like you said, if I'm training for a 5K, then maybe 2-3 weeks out, maybe do 2 sessions a week. But still, like one of those would still be like a threshold session. Yeah, I know, like you can still get quite a lot of intensity in with one session.
Oh, definitely.
Depending on what you're training for, but
as long as you control it, yeah.
And also with this as well, I tend to push the long run like right up to the top of my first threshold. I'm not like really jogging the long run, so I'm running quite fast most of the week. Which would change.
And even your easy stuff, most of them are pretty, they're not too far off what you're trying to run the 40 miles in a year. Like, you want to run 4-minute Ks, well, a lot of them are down at the 4:15, 4:20K sort of pace, aren't they?
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is like you saw such a good response to just running steady with no sessions, but why go to the extreme and do like 2 a week and just add one step at a time?
Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
So Monday out easy. So then whether the week divulged from what it would normally be. On Tuesday I had a VO2 max test. So this was the second day of visits for the study that we mentioned on the last episode with Joseph. We should have said on the last episode, if anyone's interested, like drop us a message and we'll send you all the info. I think
get a free VO2 max test out of it, so that's quite nice.
It is just a VO2 max test though. There's no sub max, which is a bit weird. But no. So normally
a bit weird, but in if you ever get tested, you're so used to doing a sub max and then a max afterwards.
Yeah. Whereas this was just a warm up and a VO2 max test. But if you're interested, drop us a message and we'll send you the details. So this was basically 10 minutes of jogging on the treadmill. And then it was a VO2 max test, and it was a gradient VO2 max test, which is again a different protocol to what I've had tested before, and then what Dan generally does with the Phys Hub. Like you would maybe do gradient if someone asked.
No, we normally we tend to. Unless it's a mountain runner, it doesn't really make sense in terms of. But if you're talking about running performance, then you'd go right. Yeah, we just increase the speed. We still get a 1% grade because that sort of accounts for the air resistance that you don't have running inside on a treadmill versus outside, and then just increase the speed by 1k an hour every minute to the exhaustion. So it is quite common to do gradient, especially in like more clinical populations. Because it's safer. The speeds aren't as high. But you also recruit a bit more muscle mass in theory, so you can get higher scores, which we'll see if that plays out in the next couple of minutes, shall we?
So I think that's sort of the key point with Joseph's study in terms of like working with clinical populations. So he's got some athletes in, but he's also got people that do not nearly as much exercise as we do. So it needs to be a test that sort of works for everyone. He's gone with the gradient protocol in this case, and it's going to vary wherever you go. one of maybe the wider problems with sport and exercise science. But with this protocol, it was started at 12 kilometers an hour at 1% gradient, and started out normally. So every minute the speed went up until we went through 5 speed increases. So I got to 17 kilometers an hour, and then the gradient went up a percent every minute. So I got to 6%. So I think that's like 5 gradient increases. It felt a lot different to a normal sort of speed VO2 max test. Like legs were really burning at the end. It was sort of felt as much peripheral sort of failure as central failure. Yeah. Like,
and you're someone who's actually done quite a lot of, you've been doing quite a few fail races and climbing, and you talk about your 100 meters in every hour, and which you've had some good comments on that. But so I think that's interesting that you still found lots of peripheral fatigue.
Yeah.
What did your heart rate get up to? Did it get up to what you'd expect it to?
I think we saw like 189, and my max is 195, 196-ish. And when we tested just before Christmas, it got to like 193. So not quite as high, but like, there wasn't really anything left in the tank. Like,
no, I mean, that's not a few beats here and there. It's not that different. But it'll be interesting if consistently you were seeing that.
Yeah.
Because, no, that is interesting.
And then, VO2 max came out at 72. So a little bit higher than when we tested a few weeks ago.
You checked the weight. Was the weight the same?
I was 0.4 of a kilo heavier.
All right, so actually it's gone up. It's gone up even more then. It's probably apparently 72.5, isn't it? Versus,
But yeah, so a little bit increased. I mean, like, there's measurement of error of measurement, sorry, and biological sort of variation.
Yeah.
But
I'd have to go look that up, what it is for the Vintus and from a VO2 max test. But
I think you sort of count as like 4 or 5%, don't you?
I'd have to look it up for what the stuff, because they have done validation studies, and that's probably within the realms of retest reliability, but not far off being confident that it's gone up, I'd say.
Yeah. I think two tests show it's better than it was this time last year.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So,
it's in the 70s. It's not down in the mid 60s. You can be confident of that, I think. Well, what you do is you go, well, if it goes lower, then you go it's measurement error, and if it goes higher, then it's improved. That's how it works, isn't it?
But so then I was faced with this problem where I've done a warm up and 10 minutes of 10 minutes of intensity, but really it's the last sort of 3 or 4 minutes that are hard. And then what do I do? So went and did a session after on the I couldn't do it in the lab treadmill that Dan uses for everything, so I had to go slum it in the King Coyd public gym.
And they're 20-year-old treadmills.
Yeah, and then there's on Tuesdays there's a cardiac rehab group that comes in as well. So it was basically me and then like mostly sort of 50-plus-year-old guys walking as they're rehabbing from various heart issues. It's a bit of a contrast, sort of one treadmill to the next.
Yeah, I like that though. It's good.
You keeps you grounded. I know the person that runs that class, and he has a couple of, I guess, master students like interning, and apparently one of them asked him if I was one of the patients.
Just smashing it away on the treadmill.
17.5 kilometers an hour, and one of the cardiac patients. So I went and did. So I sort of thought, I've done some intensity. This is where I sort of was trying to figure out how to structure this week. And I sort of thought, well, just go do another sort of 25 to 30 minutes of intensity afterwards. So I went and did 6 by 5 minutes, and every 2 reps put the speed up by half kilometer an hour. So I did the first 2 at 16.5, next 2 at 17, and then the final 2 at 17.5 kilometers an hour. I mean, it's probably completely off on those treadmills. Like they are really rogue. The one I was on.
To be honest, I don't think I've done some stuff on them. I don't think they're too far off, considering they're those, what they call, they're those live fitness like classic treadmills that everyone's been on at some point, and they sound horrendous, don't they?
Yeah, they're so loud.
But I don't think they're too far off. doesn't really matter, does it? It's more about just getting the intensity. So I guess your work is starting off at like LT1 and getting up to LT2, do you reckon?
Yeah, and based on my heart rate, like, yeah, the first 2 reps is just get, like, by the end of the second one, it was just getting above sort of LT1, and then, yeah, pushed it to 17, sort of midway between, and then 17 and a half, sort of within 3 or 4 beats of LT2. Yeah, by the sort of the end of it, I was a bit bored of running on the treadmill at that point, and then, I was maybe sort of feeling a bit of the, I guess, I don't know if it's fatigue, but like, it feels different when you've gone to like max, and then I left a bit of a gap. It was sort of like, did, sort of 5 more minutes jogging before I started the session, but there was sort of 10 minutes between it as well. So yeah, I guess, the same way, like if you go, some people now will do like a race and then go do a session, and I don't think you're ever going to hit the paces you would if you were like just going straight into the session. No, sort of served its purpose.
The weirdest is what I've done, which is doing something about on the treadmill and then going, right, I'm going to go do some more stuff outside. That feels horrendous. Like jumping from treadmill to doing track reps. I'm pretty sure I've done that before. Done a VO2 max test and gone on the track and tried to do some mile reps, and it's like you've got the fatigue, but also it just feels odd
weird.
Trying to run outside after having run on the treadmill. It's nearly like that transition of, I don't know, I go in a triathlon, going from a bike to a run. You try and run, and it's not the same as just running normally.
Like I did think about going outside, but I was cycling up to uni, so I was sort of already pushing how much I was carrying like 2 pairs of shoes in my bag, and then I didn't want to take the stuff to like then wrap up and go outside afterwards. So maybe not necessarily the sort of guess training load I would have done if I didn't have the VO2 max test, but I think a decent sort of day's training, and then also cycled to and from uni, so it's another like 55 minutes of.
So you got like 17k of running in with on the treadmill, looking at it, something like that, didn't you? And then
I don't know. I don't think my watch is calibrated, but I don't know. So go on the time. I got, what's that? 70 minutes of running.
70 minutes.
We'll go with that. So then again, wouldn't normally do a session on Tuesday, but Wednesday morning just did another hour easy. Again, felt really good. Like, I didn't look at my pace again, as always, like just got the heart rate showing, and then finished, and I was like, whoa, that was almost slightly too fast. I'm just sort of going by the heart rate and just how it feels, and just felt nice and easy. The Wednesday, nice and straightforward. So then Thursday, again, knew after Tuesday that I wanted to get another session in, and knew that I had a race on Sunday, and then also that I wanted to get to this week now where we're recording and just sort of be back to normal. So I was in 2 minds, do I do the session on Thursday or Friday, but just decided just do it on Thursday. Gives my legs another day to sort of freshen up for the race, and then just into this week. And then also I'd managed to get hold of some bicarb from Morton, and maybe a topic for a whole podcast, to be honest, or about ultras. But I'm in 2 minds about whether to use it for Barry. There's a lot of, I guess, anecdotal evidence of really long duration event or athletes using it now. You've sort of heard that like Killian used it at UTMB. That's sort of been around for a few years now. That sort of
Tom Evans as well. I'm pretty sure he's documented using it. There have been some high profile elite. David Roach. Was it Hard Rock 100? He broke the record. Was it? Was it the other? Leadville. So I think and Killian was in UTMB, wasn't it? And I think Tom Evans was same, full UTMB.
And I need to look up how they took it. I know David Roach, I think, took it beforehand and then didn't touch it throughout. And I think Killian was having it throughout.
He definitely took it mid. There's definitely videos of him taking it mid. But I really don't know. Like, is that a marketing thing? Is it is it I mean, because there are no papers on the effects of bicarb in anything over an hour's worth of exercise.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple of like an hour in duration, but like on the bike from memory, it's not running.
And then when you get to the cycling stuff as well, it's a different, like, you know, it gets talked about with like the durability studies, doesn't it? Where a cycling race, you'll be going fairly easy and then hard, whereas an ultra, you're probably keeping a similar you know, the metabolics stress will go up, but you're not increasing the intensity intentionally. So
I mean, I've heard it proposed like in more of these ultra mountain events, it's to in some ways help with the real eccentric loading you get, and is that causing either you to recruit some really fast rich muscle fibers to absorb those forces and potentially producing some hydrogen ions and some acidity, or maybe it does just help with, I don't know, I've seen all sorts of theories out there which have got a range of possible, you know, feasibility. You could, you know, is there a mechanism there that you could suggest it would be performance enhancing to take bicarb? Maybe not, but yeah, I mean, I think we can confidently say it's probably not going to have an adverse effect. Otherwise you wouldn't get these athletes doing it. And running well. And because even I imagine even if Killian was getting a nice big check to take bicarb during UTMB, he wouldn't take it if it thought it was going to hamper his chances of winning UTMB.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident David Roach was not being paid to take bicarb.
No, well, he said on that podcast, didn't he? He bought it himself. So that lends some weight to it. I mean, at the same time, like the way you make the Morton bicarb, like you could just not put the bicarb pellets in. You could just have the gel, and it would look fairly similar unless you're really looking up close. But
why would you? You got to have some sort of form of trust, haven't you? So you're considering taking bicarb?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like the same sort of thought you had with Valencia, it's like there's maybe not much upside for a potentially massive downside. Which you have to sort of figure out. And I think even if I take it, or even if I think about taking it, I need to try it more times. So
for me with Valencia, like in a marathon, mechanistically, I can see that it could possibly have an effect, because by the end of a marathon, in the last 5k, 10k, my heart rate is above my LT2 heart rate. Now, does that mean that I'm above LT2? Am I producing as a lactate? I don't know. I've never taken my lactate in the last 10k of a marathon, and I've never found a case study or any data to say that what the lactate levels are like at the end of a marathon. I think maybe I have seen something reporting like once finishing lactate, and they are a little bit elevated, but I feel like I am pretty close to my VO2 max at the end. So I could see that, I expect that if I did take my lactate, it would be elevated. And that's, you know, in suggesting reduced pH, and maybe some buffering would help there. But in a 40-mile race, I don't know, like, and even if it is like, you know, the last 5%, you can really, really push it, assuming you've fueled really well. There's pushing it and there's pushing it. Like pushing it in a 40-mile race is probably getting up to LT2, isn't it? I don't know. Could you get your heart rate all the way up to 190 at the end of a 40-mile race?
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe
and then you're thinking, well, maybe there are other benefits to bicarb we don't know about, but that's definitely outside the realms of the evidence we have at the minute.
And I don't know whether I necessarily want to be the case study for that. And you know, we wouldn't be able to measure anything anyway, so
why not?
Trying to even figure out.
We could come take, you know, come take some blood samples as you ran. It's a perfect experiment. 40, like you said at the start, 40 miles, 161 laps of a track or whatever it is. You know, we could, it's very controllable.
So thought I'll give this a go. I would say it's worth looking at, but Morton's like, there's like a bicarb tool, like link. I think you have to do it on your phone maybe. But it basically helps you like plan when you take it. And I sent you a screenshot of it. Like it's a really nice little tool. Like it's sort of, if you're thinking about taking bicarb and you wonder about like the logistics of it, I would say, definitely have a look at that, because like it tells you where, if you're having a meal or a snack, like when to have that, and then when to make the bicarb, and then when to take it, and then when it's going to have the most effect.
It's got like a what's it? It's a graphic of where your level should peak, shouldn't it? Or would it, based on population data, where you'd expect your peak bicarb levels to be, and how long they're going to stay elevated for, isn't it? Which is nice to see.
Yeah, but I guess something else to consider, like taking this meant sort of quite drastically changing my routine before a run. So normally I'd just get up and have a coffee and then sort of be out the door and be having gels. With this, you need like an hour 40 to 2 hours before the session starts to take it, and then I don't know if I think recommend isn't even a strong enough word. Like they say you need to have at least a snack, and then you need like 20 minutes at least before taking the bicarb after the snack. So then, if
you're doing specify what your snack must be.
No, so that was something I thought as like I'd sort of want to know how many like calories or like grams of fat,
because
like,
fat,
grams of carbs. Sorry,
it's to slow down the absorption, isn't it?
Yeah.
And if you're having more fat and protein, that's going to slow it down much more than simple carbohydrates.
Yeah.
If your snack is a Morton gel, that's probably not going to do very much for delaying the absorption, is it?
Yeah, so you have to consider that. So yeah, if you're like first thing in the morning sort of session person, because that's when you have to fit it in for work or whatever, like you're going to be getting up really early. And then also I was Googling the night before and I couldn't find anything about like having caffeine at the same time, so I just didn't have a coffee. So I was already going into it feeling a bit like, oh, my morning routine's already been affected, and then I'm like, basically then like, we'll mark this podcast as explicit, but like as soon as you take it, you're just like, am I going to shit myself, sort of thing. And just that thought is in your head the entire run, which maybe is like a reverse placebo, like you're manifesting that it's going to happen.
But
yeah, so
how our stomach's doing.
So that's sort of going on. So I guess I haven't even talked about the session yet, but in terms of the bicarb, like it wasn't a case of like I was suddenly 10 seconds a K quicker for these reps. That I'm still going by heart rate. It wasn't like there was a massive jump in performance. I wouldn't have expected there to be anyway. Like that probably would have raised more questions if there had been.
What the hell is in this stuff? Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna try it a couple more times with a couple of sort of different like use cases, I guess.
So you haven't said what the session is yet.
Yeah, I haven't even got to the session. We've just been talking about bicarb. So I did 2 by 10 minutes and then 4 by 5 minutes. So the 10 minutes was sort of just above first threshold. And then the 4 by 5 minutes was trying to sort of push up to second threshold. Running a bit faster.
Give us some paces then. Like 3:45 a K was it for the
10 minutes.
You need to get Strava Premium so I can see your splits.
Yeah, I know. I'm cheaping out. Buying bicarb, cheaping out on Strava.
Yeah.
The 4 by 5 minutes were I think like somewhere around 3:30 a K, which for sort of my second threshold is like outdoors. I'm pretty happy with that. Like that's a decent session. The sort of 3:45 at sort of I think the first one averaged like 165 heart rate and the second one was like 167 or something. So like happy with the paces, and my legs felt like really bad. I think I was getting the sort of DOMs from maybe the VO2 max and the weekend as well. Like I
wasn't gonna give you too much stick for this, but like we started off from the start of this conversation today saying like how one session a week or with a solid long run, that suits me really well, loads of mileage. Then this week he's done 2 sessions in a race, and he's got one day between actual quite a big session and going out and testing his Morton stuff. So that's a massive factor. Like you can't really say is it a Morton or not. And the other thing that's you asked me what I should do this week, and I said just do a load of stuff after your VO2 max test, which you did, but then went into another session anyway. I said just do the race, do the fell race, and do a load of work after the VO2 max session. So
I don't know, to be honest, I don't know how much more I would have got done after the VO2 max session. And then I was like, well, I've sort of done the VO2 max plus 30 minutes. So I was like, do another 30 minutes. I mean, it's still, like, you know, in terms of the paces, like, it was all good, but it did, you know, Butte Park is like the flattest place on earth. And it felt like I was running uphill most of it. Like, you know, where your legs are a bit cooked and the sort of the first like 30 seconds of a rep, you're just like, I have no power. Like, you just can't get moving. It felt like that. But no, in terms of paces, was happy. No adverse effects of the bicarb. Although, yeah, jury's still out about whether
it helped or not.
Yeah,
and again, it's threshold-based stuff. And again, in my head, it's going to help most when you're above threshold. That's where the evidence base is. It's definitely going to help when you're above your threshold and you're starting to produce, lactate, starting to produce hydrogen ions, increased acidity, reduced pH, and that's where the mechanism should be to help. Not saying it can't help at threshold, but we haven't got the evidence to say that yet from my interpretation of literature. But so yeah, it'd be I think it'd be nice to see you use it again and in a bit fresher and see if you have a different response there. But I mean, nice thing is that you didn't shit yourself, so that's good.
Positive from the day,
especially in Butte Park.
Yeah. And yeah, it's such a hard thing to evaluate. Like, I had a few messages afterwards, like, yeah, if you chuck a picture of Morton bicarb on your Strava, like, you get some nibbles. And yeah, people asking me how it was, and it's hard to say because you're an N of 1 and there's such a huge placebo going into it. And yeah, like I sort of said, it might be a positive placebo, but it's also going to be negative with bicarb, I think. Like, if you know how, or the potential side effect of bicarb, it's going to be in your head. So it's just really hard to sort of figure out, was this beneficial or not? Yeah, and like you say, yeah, maybe if you're racing 15 5K and getting the most out of your training, then it's something to consider. But apart from that, it's just hard to figure out, isn't it? And then you're sort of like, well, if you can't figure out if it's worth it, then is it worth it?
Well, you just need to have one good race where you've taken bicarb, and you've just got to take bicarb for the rest of your life, haven't you?
That's like where you listen to that one song before a race, and then it's your pre-race song forever.
Oh, I'm not a music listener. Not in a warm up or anything anyway. No. We'll drive it over, but yeah. So one last thing about the bicarb. Taste score, what are you giving it then out of 10?
It was not bad. Like, I've heard actually you've taken it, right? Like, I've heard the bicarb, the Jack Gray, and who's the other guy that does it with him?
I can't remember his name, which is
the Cambridge guys. I've heard that tastes really bad.
Is this better?
I haven't tasted that one, so I can't compare.
Well,
but this tasted like a Morton gel, basically, with some like really small little like pellets in, which is the bicarb, which they say don't chew. So it's kind of hard to. Yeah, you instinctively go to chew it, and then you're like, oh no, it says in sort of big bold letters, do not chew.
Yeah. The Jack Gray bicarb did taste like eating salt. It did taste like eating salt. It was, and like, a bit of salt on my chips, a bit of salt on my dinner, but it was like eating teaspoons of salt, which was slimy. Like, it was pretty vile. You could eat it, but I was suffering through every mouthful. So if it doesn't taste like that, then it's probably a bit better. But
I'd heard you say that, and then my mate Dave, Postman Dave, he had said the same, and he had sent me a photo when he was taking it, and I was like, that doesn't look good. Yeah, sorry, Jack Gray.
I also didn't have any side effects with that though. I've literally only taken it once, but I didn't have any. That again, it seemed to be effective. Taking it with a carbohydrate gel, xanthan gum, whatever, did seem to help with the tolerance of the bicarb. So you can suffer through that. It's a lot cheaper. So
yeah. Jury's still out. And yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how you as one person evaluates it.
No, you can't do it. I think like with all these things, it's like the super shoes. Like, is one shoe faster than the other? Well, unless you actually measure, gas exchange in the lab, doing it properly, you can't go, because they're going to be so close. The measurement, the effect is going to be so small. It can be, I'm sure that I'm convinced bicarb works in a 5k, 10k. We've got loads of good evidence on that.
Yeah.
But if you just got two people to go and race, one person to race a 5k with and without bicarb a few times.
They're not going to tell.
The data, you wouldn't be able to tell.
And at least with the super shoes, you have you can always go back to which shoes are most comfy, and that's generally quite a good guide.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, at least this first time, I didn't taste or didn't feel a difference. No, we'll try it again. We'll see how it goes. Like the whole point of Barry 40 and my approach to running anyway is a bit of a sort of N of one experiment. So I'm always sort of keen to try things. So yeah, we'll try again, see how it goes.
Repeat the VO2 max test with bicarb.
Yeah.
And we need a placebo, so mix it up without the pellets in, or like some pellet substitutes. And
I don't know what you get.
That's how you do a proper study.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So that was Thursday. Friday, just an hour easy. Just ticking over. And then Saturday, because I had a race on Sunday, and I thought I'm not going to be able to fit a long run in, but I can run a bit further than just an hour. So went out and did 20k and a little bit faster. 4:14 a k for that one as well, which was not too bad. Legs felt better by then. So.
And most importantly, you became a local legend of the Little to Tesco segment on Strava.
Yeah, I don't know where that. I was trying to think where that was. I saw that pop up. But yeah, no, nice and early.
Nice and early. He messaged me. I messaged me. I had some time on Saturday, and I thought, maybe I'd go from the upper run with everyone. And he messaged me going, oh no, sorry, I've got to go really early. 7:45 he goes for a run.
It's early on a Saturday.
Yeah. Anyway, 20k, good pace. What was your heart rate there? Were you getting over LT1 a bit?
No, stayed below.
What's your
160.
LT1 heart rate?
I think it's like 164, 165. So
we had a peak of 167 there. So.
Oh, did I? Oh, that would be one of the hills at the end.
Yeah, average 153 there. So you're all right.
Yeah, that's the hill going up into Rada. So.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's a nice morning. Yeah, that was sort of the best I could do in terms of a long run. Like, I realised I'm training for a 40-mile event, so that's probably. I mean, I think it's the most important run of the week anyway. But in terms of this week, just couldn't fit it in. I did have thoughts about doing it today. We're recording the Monday after this week, but I had my hepatitis B vaccine in the morning, and I just thought I either don't want to. I would have actually had to have gotten up and been out the door by 6:30 to do it this morning, or doing it after having a vaccine. I didn't think was a particularly smart move. So yeah, just 20k was the best I could do this week. But yeah, then we get to Sunday. So I did the Kaimin fell race. That's up in Monmouth. It's a fell race. It's in the fell running series, but like it's more of a trail race. Like there's no navigation on it. There's no sort of line choice. Like you are just following flags and following a trail. But no, this was good. So I did as always, I did some priming beforehand. Still feel a bit, I don't know what the word is, but like, yeah, I'm priming to come 7th in a fell race. But like at the same time, you're just, the first 2 kilometers of this is just straight uphill. And you're going for it. And I sort of knew with the layout of the race, like you needed to be fairly near the front after a kilometer because it went onto a piece of single track. So it's like everyone's just going to absolutely like rip it from the start. Like it's a really easy way to sort of have a rubbish race if you just immediately are sort of going for it.
Don't get out hard enough.
Yeah. So that's my main reason for sort of doing it, I think. And then also just, I think it's good to sort of practice it. And then if there are races where you do want to be on the start line, like, really going for a result, then, then you've done it. So yeah, 6k with, I think I did like 4.5 minutes. It was just along like a little lane. I basically just stopped it when I had to stop for a van coming the other way. So, 4.5 minutes of just under my second threshold.
Yeah, got your heart rate up to 175 there, which is nice.
So,
What you want it to be?
Yeah,
it's quite a long. You wanted to get some more miles in as well, though, didn't you? To do a 6K,
yeah,
28 minutes warm up.
yeah.
I don't mind a long warm up, but I'm normally not. I'm normally not getting to 6K. I'd say, even with climbing.
I did sort of think in the morning. I was like, oh, we could get there 20 minutes earlier, and I could go and do like sort of 45, 50 minutes, jogging beforehand, but sort of didn't end up doing that in the end. But yeah, and then so with this race, it was sort of you sort of did 2/3 of the climb, and then descended, and then did the whole climb again. So it's 7.1K, 380 meters of climbing. And yeah, just a pretty full-on race. Like, I was in the sort of battle of 4 people, and it was just full on the entire way. It was such good fun. Like, really, really thoroughly enjoyed the race. Like, really, really well organized race. And it really suited me because none of it was too technical. It was about as steep a descent as I can do, like really fast, to the point where I was on some of the descents and I was behind people and I was like, come on, like, you're faster than them in a flat race, so you should be going past them here, sort of thing. Where if it gets any steeper for me, it's then brings in a skill element of descending, and that's where I start to really struggle. Just to like, if you're racing 4 people for 30 odd minutes and just going all out for that sort of time, it's a fun experience, and I ended up finishing ahead of all 4 of those sort of guys I was racing with, which is nice.
It's always nice to win that battle, isn't it?
Yeah, and not in a sort of like, oh, I really want to beat these guys, but like, it's just feels good, and for me as well, where I'm so bad normally at the descending, to actually be able to hold them off on the descents or even overtake people on the descents is a nice result. So yeah, really sort of full on 30. I think my finish time was like 33:50 or something.
34:05 on here.
Averaged 179 for the heart rate, so just above my sort of threshold heart rate.
It's crazy because average 179, max 186, but the average pace is 4:45 a k.
Yeah. It's some of these, like, they're so steep that even the descents, like, you don't actually run that fast. This one was a lot faster on the descents. That's where it suits me. Even there's some points in this where you're like just running down a super steep field and like trying to just stay on your feet. And it also means you don't really, like, your heart rate drops a little bit, but you don't ever get sort of like a recovery.
No.
It's just full on.
You can see a few ebbs and flows on your heart rate, but it's not getting low, is it? It's still staying up in the 170s.
Yeah. No, really good. Like, anyone in sort of the South Wales area, if you want to have a go at a shorter sort of trail race into a fail race, like, this is a really good one. It's full on, like, just full gas the entire way, which is good fun. No navigation, which for some people that's a good thing. Other people prefer a bit of navigation. That, and then I just did like 2K cool down after, 9 minutes jog afterwards. Not as much running, not as much distance or time this week, but
so 109, I've got the stats here. 109k, 7 hours 57 minutes running, 1,000 meters of climbing. So a bit down on you've been typically averaging 125 to 130k, haven't you, really?
Yeah.
So about 9 hours. So you're not, you're a little bit down, but it's not massively down, isn't it?
Yeah.
Missing
a long run in that.
Yeah. But quite a lot more intensity. So the actual load for that week was probably higher than a typical week. If you're, we talked a bit in our threshold podcast, didn't we, about concepts of load, like some combination of volume and intensity. That week was probably actually harder, wouldn't it, compared to what you would do on a typical week. So I was just looking. So in your, how many K did I say you did? 100 and
109.
109. And you got over 1,000 meters of elevation, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So I did 200k last week, and I got 700 meters of elevation, which is indicates how much flat running I do.
There'll be people that won't break 100 meters in Cardiff, 100%.
I'm sure I've got weeks where I've not got much above 100. It's a little bit. I normally, if I go for a long run from my house, I normally get in a couple of 100 meters. But if back when I used to live in Cardiff, I would definitely be a 100 meters a week kind of guy, I think.
Yeah.
For a lot of it.
And I think I
think for you though, I think like getting some climbing in is really helpful for because in terms of what's going to be your limiter in a 40-mile race, then yeah, the fueling is going to be a massive thing, but like the muscle damage is going to be really important. Have you got that resilience to withstand, those DOMs, that eccentric loading after 40 miles of really monotonous running around the track? Actually, probably the best way to condition your legs to that is loaded downhill running, where you're really going to trash them and work them really, really hard. Because that muscle damage then influences it. Obviously, it hurts, so it makes you want to slow down once you're running on battered legs. But it's going to affect your running economies. The cost of running at a given pace is going to be higher. So then you're going to need more fuel, or you're going to have to slow down to keep the intensity the same. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, even if you're going to keep your heart rate the same, your oxygen consumption and your effort the same, the pace is going to get slower because you're going to be less economical.
Yeah.
Conditioning your legs to that through doing loads of hilly stuff. It's probably a good way of doing it instead of going and doing 40-mile runs around the track.
And I think, like I mentioned it before where I said about just trying to do some amount of climbing every day. Like I think just longer term as a runner, it's good for you. Like you're constantly getting that eccentric loading, and then it means that like I can go and do a fell race and then be able to do a long run the next day. Whereas you see people that don't do hills would go and do something like this and like wouldn't be able to get down the stairs the next day. I think it really helps, and apart from what you're saying about like it potentially helping economy in longer races, I think for some races as well, it's really beneficial to do. Like I think we sort of said about maybe doing a bit of a episode about training for things like Boston or like Comrades, and like it's the eccentric loading, it's the running downhill that's actually what fries your legs by the end of the race.
100%.
But it's not too hard to do it either, just a couple of times a week, and you're not going to get that DOMS.
No, and it's and you adapt to it really, really quickly. So for me now, doing a marathon, even the next day after a marathon, I'm not a flat road marathon. I'm not that sore. I can go and run the next day. I'm going to be a bit sore. I was more sore after Valencia than I have normally been actually, which maybe is just because I ran a faster speed. I don't know. Is it an absolute intensity thing rather than a relative intensity? I'm not sure, but I was a bit more sore. But I still ran the next day, and I ran every day that week. And I could have done a session after a couple of days. It wouldn't have been amazing, but I could have gone and done one. Whereas a couple of years ago, I did this South Downs Way 50k race on the trails, which is, it's a little bit further, and it's hilly, but it's not mountainous. And I was the most battered I'd ever been after that. And I did the same race in 2024, and just 2 weeks, I think 2 or 3 weeks prior, I just did. Well, I didn't do what you did of gradually putting a bit of climbing in. I ran up the mountain by my house, up and down it twice, 2 weeks out, and then was really sore after that. Got in a couple more hilly runs, but after the 50k, I was fine. Just after like a couple of hilly runs, probably a bit too extreme. I should have been a bit more gradual. I didn't appreciate how sore I would be, but it's something that you adapt really quickly. That's so specific.
Yeah. It's not a big dose needed, and it's just like I tend to find where it seems to sort of be quite common where you have a couple of fell races within a week of each other. Like if I do the first one and I haven't done a fell race in a few weeks, like I'll have a bit of DOMS, but then you do the second one and you don't. It's really quick to sort of respond.
Yeah, and this is what that's what David Roach, this guy who broke which one was it, the Leadville 100 record. Seems to be a bit of a character, bit of an influencer type character, isn't he? And described him as a mad scientist, but he's done some interesting things, and he basically said he trains like he's a flat road runner most of the time, and then if he's getting ready for a mountain race, which is his main events, he will just go and do a load of climbing in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that's enough. And that's not preparing for like the South Downs Way race I did. I've just picked it up, just got it up here on Strava. It was 1,100 meters of elevation over 50k, which is quite a lot of climbing, but not that much over 50k. But the sort of mountain races that he's doing, you can be up to 5,000 plus meters, I imagine.
Yeah, and really long descents, like where it just doesn't stop.
Yeah. I've just found my mountain run that I described beat me up in my preparations for the South Downs 50k. So I did. It was 11k with nearly 600 meters of climbing, but actually that doesn't do it justice because I had to run along the canal to get there. So it was basically, let's have a look here. I had 1k where I gained 200 meters of climbing. It took me 8 minutes and 50 seconds to complete.
That's a good kilometer.
That was for me, that was enough to beat me up. Or more of a coming down, like you said, losing 150 meters in a k. Yeah. But yeah, it's amazing how you think you're conditioned for something like running, and then you go and chuck someone like me who does not do much climbing, and then you go and do that, and just 11k run completely beat me up for a good week. But yeah,
I think we'll do a deeper dive into that because it is something people maybe want to consider for things like Boston and Comrades. Like they're the sort of the main ones, aren't they? And then you've got.
But I think even for people who aren't doing high mileage running, I used to get sore after a marathon when I was first starting out. And so you got super shoes now, so they help a little bit. I'm sure, like the better foams, they can protect your legs a bit. But I don't get sore now because I've been running for reasonably high mileage for 15 years. Nearly 15 years. And if you're not in a position, you shouldn't just start jumping into high mileage training. You got to do it gradually. But a better way to do that, even if you're preparing for a London marathon, is to do some runs where you're getting some climbing in.
Yeah,
I think that would have a good effect.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it just slightly changes the load on your body, doesn't it, during the run?
And it's enjoyable being on trails, isn't it? And just getting out of that mindset of what's the pace, what pace am I running today? Just forgetting about that. I think that's nice. And when I'm struggling with my running, I like to go out into the trails in the hills. And if I'm going to do a race, I'm not that fit, or my first one back, I'd love to go do a cross country race rather than the worst would be getting on an indoor track and running a 3k or a 5k, which is so quantifiable. Don't do that as your first race back unless you think I'm super fit. Go and do something. Go and do a trail race. Go to a cross country race.
And like you said as well, like for just your normal runs, like go and do your long run over some hills, and just go for time rather than distance. But it just takes away pace being something you compare, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you think about like what the East Africans are doing in the Rift Valley, the sort of running they're doing there, it is not flat. And they're well known for having exceptional running economy, and I do wonder if some of it is maybe running in barefoot, but not all of them running barefoot when they're kids, like giving you foot strength, calf strength, and then just running on off-road hills all the time. That's going to build characteristics, I think, that would be beneficial for track running, mountain running, whatever. Just being a bit more exposed to different stimuluses, I guess.
Not always running flat.
Cool.
Nice. So that's the week in the books.
6 weeks to go, is it?
6 weeks to go. Yeah, something like that.
Getting nervous?
Getting not really. I'm not really thinking about it. Like, yeah, not worried. When anyone that I say I'm doing, they're like, "Oh my god, there's so many laps." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess," but
you just do it, don't you?
Don't worry about that bit. Like,
it's only 40 miles. Like.
Yeah, we'll be right. But yeah.
So I guess, do you want to get? I guess going forward for your next 6 weeks, then, like a bit of a flavour, just more of the same, 125, 130k weeks.
I think so.
I'm
probably going to push the long runs a bit more, like up to sort of maybe 220, 230, like 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30, maybe, and then just longer sessions. But like, there's only so much you can do at this point, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to, go run 160k a week. No. Like that's a good way to not finish at or not make it to the start line. So there's a limited sort of like scope anyway, I think. I think I've got one more race. So I've got Bucks cross country in 9 days. No, not 9. 12 days time, I think. And then no more races as well. So it's, then I can really sort of push the long run. Won't be coming in with a race in my legs, but I think similar. Like, I think I'll probably alternate between my sessions being a bit slightly longer reps and more towards like first threshold, and then slightly shorter reps, like 5, 6, 7 minutes and closer to second threshold. But maybe we can discuss that, sort of how you decide when we get to them. Like, to be honest, I haven't decided myself yet either. Probably fairly similar from here on out, and then I'll just start to really focus on like fueling. Maybe think about shoes as well. That'll be something to consider.
I think actually this is your window. I think you can't. People do get whatever race they're training for, a marathon, an ultra, whatever. People do get too obsessed with the last 6 weeks. If you're not fit with 6 weeks to go, you're not going to be that fit.
Yeah,
you're not going to run a great time. There's only so much you can gain in that time. But you can completely get it wrong by making bad decisions and chasing fitness and all that stuff. But things you can dial into are the nutrition, really getting that right. And sorting out your kit. I think especially more with those ultra races, kind of you getting the right shoes, finding because I only decided my shoe choice like 2 weeks prior to Valencia. But ideally I'd have liked to practice a bit more in them, but they were fine, especially when I had a half size too small. But
I won't do that.
No, don't do that, especially on a 40-mile race.
No.
Nice.
Back to more normal week this coming week. So should be good.
Were you taking any gels in those sessions you did this week?
What did I had I've got one of the really big precision fuel, like 300 gram pouches. So I just had that on the treadmill after the VO2 max test on the Tuesday. So I don't know, maybe probably took 60 grams, sort of 3 big mouthfuls in sort of 30 minutes. So not bad for that. I find I can like really hit the gels, or hit it quite hard on the treadmill. And then the Thursday session I didn't, just again, like what I was saying, I don't know if it's a like negative placebo, but like my stomach did not feel, well, not 100%. I just felt like full, but I don't know whether that's just eating before. And then you do consume a lot with the bicarb. Like, there's a lot of gel.
So that's got carbs in it as well, isn't it?
So I was carrying a gel, but I just never got to a point where I thought I needed to eat it or to have it. So
you're going to try and be a bit more precise with that, and because I did find that very beneficial, like knowing in multiple marathon build-ups, just going right in training, I now know I can tolerate 80 grams an hour. And next time I'm going to try pushing 90, and then see if I can push it a bit more. And seeing actually at the end of a long run, am I still being able to tolerate that rate of carbohydrate ingestion? And if actually you need to back off a bit, especially when you think, well, if you get up to 2.5 hours, you're gonna have another hour and a half, aren't you? Is that right? Of racing on the day.
Yeah,
You're
no,
not going to do a 4-hour run.
no. Yeah, no. Not going to fall into that specificity trap.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think with the gels as well, like, yeah, this week was shorter sessions and then trying the bicarb. And the week before, when I did that session, it was like that was where I did like 2 by 6 miles, and it was really cold. And it's like I think I said, like, you're doing 2 really long reps and try not to fall over on the like patches of ice. And then like just when it's cold, like just don't really want to have a gel. So I know I struggled then as well. So yeah, it's sort of on my mind, like, yeah, try sort of, yeah, get up to during the sessions where you've got breaks between, like where you've got the recoveries, like I think 90, 100 grams is like not only like possible, but like I'll be annoyed next week if I'm not able to do that. And then yeah, with the long run, like it, that's yeah, like going back to the sponsor, but like that's where having those sore shorts helps, because like that would be carrying sort of like 5 gels, I think, at least for that. And maybe sort of doing something like having a gel as I step out the door, just to sort of just increase the grams per hour without having to carry another gel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So it's definitely on my mind. Like, it's definitely something to yeah, really fine tune as well. Yeah, probably need to buy some more, to be honest. Gonna go
Nice.
through gels quick.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you're practicing a lot in training, you can burn through them.
Practicing a
Yeah.
lot, and I've got a mouse currently eating them out of my cupboard. So
Yeah, I remember you saying
the local rodent population is
yeah, they're running
getting a taste for
marathons
super gels.
around Cardiff. Yeah, so much energy.
Yeah, I don't know if Morton tested their gels on mice, but yeah, probably not. No, I have. I've got experimental mice in the cupboard, eating all my gels.
Yeah. In your garage, right? In your garage.
No, in the kitchen. It's even worse.
Is it the kitchen? Oh, needs to sort that
that's
out.
Besides the running, that's my mission this week, is to there's a hole they can get into the kitchen, so I'm going to board that up. It's my DIY project for the week.
Yeah, I'd get on that. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Well, should we wrap it up there then?
We'll leave it there, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Right. So thanks again to our sponsors. Really appreciate it. Sounds like Owain needs a fuel sponsor. So if anyone got any contacts, then especially when mice are eating half his gels,
then
do reach out.
I need a fuel sponsor and a Tupperware sponsor.
A Tupperware, yeah. Nice. I like it. Thanks for listening. We'll chat to you again soon.